Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we explore the fascinating world of coins from around the globe. Today we are diving deep into the history, design, and significance of the 2 pence coin from 1997, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but when studied closely reveals layers of economic, historical, and cultural importance that stretch back through the centuries. To truly understand the 1997 2 pence coin, we must begin our journey in the early days of the British decimalisation process, which officially began on February 15, 1971, prior to decimalisation. British currency was based on a system of pounds, shillings, and pence which dated back to medieval times. This system had 20 shillings to the pound and 12 pence to the shilling, making a total of 240 pence to the pound. It was complex and increasingly impractical for modern commerce, which led to calls for reform and simplification in the mid-20th century. With the Decimal Currency Act passed in 1969, the United Kingdom moved toward a new monetary system based on 100 new pence to the pound, and as part of this transition, several new coins were introduced. Among them was the 2 pence coin. First issued in 1971, featuring the reverse design of the badge of the Prince of Wales with a plume of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet above the German motto Ich diene, meaning I serve, designed by Christopher Ironside. This reverse design became one of the most recognizable and enduring elements in the entire decimal coin series. The obverse of the coin naturally featured a portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, created by Arnold Machin, whose effigy was used on British coinage from 1968 to 1984. This portrait depicted the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara and was widely admired for its grace and simplicity over time. However, the Queen's portrait was updated to reflect her aging visage with later obverse designs by Raphael Makhlouf, Ian Rank Broadley, and Jody Clark, representing different eras of her reign. By the time we reached the year 1997, the 2 pence coin had already been in circulation for 26 years, but it continued to be an important and frequently used denomination in daily transactions. The coin minted in this year retained the familiar reverse design of the Prince of Wales feathers, along with the then-current obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Makhlouf, which had been introduced in 1985 and remained until 1997, marking 1997 as the final year. This portrait would appear on the 2 pence coin before being replaced by the Ian Rank Broadley design in 1998. The composition of the 1997 2 pence coin also reflects a transitional moment in British coinage, originally minted in bronze from 1971 to 1991. The 2 pence coin switched to a copper-plated steel composition starting in 1992 due to the rising cost of metals and the need for more cost-effective production. The 1997 issue therefore falls into the modern category of copper-plated steel coins, which have a strong magnetic property due to their steel core, a detail of interest to both casual collectors and those studying the material sciences involved in minting. In terms of minting volume, the 1997 2 pence coin was produced in large quantities, reflecting its everyday use and popularity as a small denomination coin. It was struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, South Wales, which has been the primary minting facility for the United Kingdom since the early 1960s. The Royal Mint employs a combination of historical techniques and cutting-edge technology to produce billions of coins each year, and its role in shaping British numismatic history cannot be overstated. Moving beyond the year itself, the story of the 2 pence coin is also a reflection of the wider economic changes in the United Kingdom during the late 20th century. Throughout the 1990s, Britain was undergoing significant financial and political shifts, including debates over European integration, the future of the monarchy, and the evolving role of the Commonwealth coins, like the 1997 2 pence, serve as tangible everyday markers of these larger narratives, silently circulating through pockets and purses as symbols of national continuity and identity. Collectors often look at the 1997 issue as part of a broader decimal collection, and while it is not rare in the traditional sense, it does offer value to those pursuing year sets or seeking transitional pieces with specific design features. The presence of the Raphael Makhlouf portrait makes this a final year of a particular portrait era, adding additional historical context for collectors and educators alike. The feathered crest on the reverse has also sparked interest among heraldry enthusiasts and royal historians. The badge of the Prince of Wales has been used for centuries and has adorned countless items of currency, regalia, and insignia. Its inclusion on the 2-pence coin was both a nod to tradition and a representation of the monarchy's lasting cultural influence, even in something as common as a coin. We can also examine the broader cultural footprint of the 2-pence coin, including its role in arcade machines, vending units, parking meters, and other small transaction devices, especially during the pre-digital age in the UK. The 2p coin was essential for exact change and served a vital function in the functioning of everyday life for millions of Britons, making it not only a collector's item, but also an artifact of social history. As we explore more about this humble yet iconic coin, we uncover layers of design, symbolism, production, innovation, and societal impact that stretch far beyond its face value, from the artistic choices of engravers like Ironside and Makhlouf to the economic decisions of the Royal Mint and Parliament. The 1997 2-pence coin represents a microcosm of British culture and its evolution over time. In this video, we will continue to explore the coin's role in commerce, changes in its weight size, and alloy its presence in international circulation, how it compares to other denominations. Its function within coin sets its usage in education, coin hunting, and family collecting activities, and the many small details that make it a lasting part of UK numismatic heritage. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, a historian, or someone who just found a shiny 2p in their drawer and got curious, this video is designed to give you everything you ever wanted to know about the 1997 2-pence coin and the many stories it carries with it through time. The Prince of Wales badge itself was adopted from the 100 Years' War and was originally associated with battlefield heraldry. The motto, Ich dien, was incorporated to demonstrate loyalty and service. It is rendered in German due to the influence of European dynasties, including the House of Hanover, from which modern British monarchs are descended over time. This symbol has come to represent not only the heir to the throne, but also continuity, tradition, and dedication to duty, all values the monarchy seeks to embody, and all captured in the small real estate of the 2p reverse design. This coin also plays a part in public psychology. Many people in the UK are sentimentally attached to the 2-pence coin due to its long presence in everyday life. It is commonly found in change jars, arcade machines, and even in games like tossing 2p coins to win prizes in traditional British seaside amusement arcades known as penny pushers. Its physical presence resonates beyond value and into memory, tradition, and even nostalgia, making it one of the most recognizable and culturally embedded denominations in the UK. Another aspect worth noting is the legal status of the 2-pence coin. Despite debates over eliminating low-value coins to save minting costs, the 2p remains legal tender up to the sum of 20 pence in any single transaction. This means a person cannot legally insist on paying a full amount entirely in 2p coins if the total exceeds this limit. However, the coin remains valid for use, and the Royal Mint has confirmed that it will continue to mint 2p coins as long as there is public demand for them. We must also consider international influence. Many countries in the Commonwealth and beyond look to the Royal Mint as a benchmark in coin design and production, and British coins, including the 1997 2-pence, have circulated globally either through travel commerce or as part of export coin contracts. The UK has long been involved in minting coins for other nations, and its designs often reflect a level of craftsmanship that earns admiration from international numismatic circles. In terms of artistic legacy, the 2-pence coin's consistency has inspired generations of designers, artists, and engravers to consider how symbolism and function coexist on such a small medium. The feathers, the coronet, the ribbon, the motto, and the balance of space and proportion all reflect a careful study of heraldry and symmetry, with designers required to work within tight constraints of dimension, relief, and durability. A coin must not only be beautiful, but also resistant to wear, easy to stack, and reliable in automated machines. As we continue this journey, you will see that coins like the 1997 Two Pence are more than just currency. They are cultural touchstones, miniature monuments, and silent storytellers of a nation's identity. They connect art to economics, history to daily life, monarchy to common people, and tradition to modernity. They are minted for the pocket, but meant for the heart. Stay with us as we explore deeper into real collector stories, regional circulation anomalies, the role of 2-pence coins in error collections, market forecasts for the next decade, and how the 1997 issue fits into the grand timeline of British decimal currency, where we explore the fascinating and rich world of old coins and numismatic treasures. And today, we are going deep into the long and intricate history of the 1974 Washington quarter, a coin that many of us have seen countless times but few truly understand in terms of its historical context, metal content, minting variations, collector demand, and potential value in the coin market. The story of the Washington quarter begins far before 1974, with the origin of the story of the Washington quarter begins far before 1974, with the origin of the design itself tracing back to 1932, when the United States was looking to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first president of the United States, and a figure deeply revered across generations of Americans. The original design was submitted as part of a competition where several renowned artists competed. But in the end, the chosen design came from John Flanagan, a sculptor whose interpretation of Washington's likeness was inspired by the bust created by Jean-Antoine Houdon. The reverse of the coin featured a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both readiness for war and hope for peace. This design became an iconic representation of American strength and values, and it remained largely unchanged for decades, including the year 1974, which is our focus today. The 1974 Washington quarter was minted at a time of economic change and cultural transition in the United States. The early 1970s were marked by inflation, a shift away from silver coinage, and changes in how coins were produced, handled, and collected, since the Coinage Act of 1965 quarters had been made of a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the 90% silver used in earlier decades. This means that the 1974 quarter has a core of pure copper and an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a total weight of 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. The coin bears the obverse of George Washington facing left with the inscriptions "Liberty," the motto "In God We Trust," and the year 1974 below his profile. Now let's talk about the mint locations and how that affects the value of the 1974 Washington quarter. These coins were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones struck in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while the Denver coins show a small D on the obverse to the right of Washington's ponytail, and the San Francisco coins have an S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were released for general circulation, while the San Francisco coins were generally minted as proofs and targeted toward collectors. The total mintage of the 1974 quarter was immense, making it a common date among Washington quarters, but there are subtle differences that can make certain examples far more valuable than face value. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 801 million quarters in 1974, while the Denver Mint produced about 353 million, and the San Francisco Mint struck around 2.6 million proof coins. What makes the 1974 quarter interesting from a collector's standpoint is not just the sheer numbers, but the condition variations, die varieties, and minting anomalies that occasionally occurred during production over such large quantities. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and that brings us to the concept of coin grading. Professional graders use a scale from 1 to 70 called the Sheldon scale, with higher numbers indicating better preservation, a 1974 Washington quarter. In heavily circulated condition may not be worth much above face value, but in mint state or uncirculated grades, especially MS65 or higher, the value can begin to climb dramatically. Collectors also prize full strike coins, especially those with full details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Another factor to consider is luster, or the brilliance of the coin's surface, which can be lost over time due to handling exposure and improper storage. Let's now take a closer look at the proof coins from San Francisco, which were struck with special dies, polished blanks, and multiple strikes to bring out mirror-like fields and frosted details. These coins were not intended for circulation and usually came in sealed sets, purchased directly from the mint. Although common in terms of overall quantity, these proof coins are sought after in high grades, especially when they are free of haze or spotting and maintain. Strong contrast between the frosted devices and the mirror backgrounds, known as cameo or deep cameo, finishes the presence of these visual characteristics can significantly increase the market value. There are also error coins from 1974 that can be worth much more than typical examples. Errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, and struck-through errors where foreign material interfered with the strike, can all be quite valuable to collectors. One of the most sought-after errors in the Washington Quarter series is the double die. Especially if visible on the date or lettering while not officially confirmed, as existing for the 1974 issue, collectors remain on the lookout for any die varieties or anomalies that could drive interest and demand. Beyond physical aspects, the 1974 quarter reflects a moment in American monetary and cultural history. It was minted just after the U.S. officially ended the Bretton Woods Agreement, which had tied the dollar to gold, and at a time when inflation was beginning to impact the economy, the cost of metal production was rising, which explains why the U.S. had already moved away from silver content in its circulating coinage nearly a decade prior. The copper-nickel composition of the 1974 quarter ensured durability and cost-effectiveness, but also marked the end of an era when coins had intrinsic metal value. The coin is both a monetary instrument and a historical artifact, capturing the design ethos and economic strategy of the mid-20th century. Collectors who focus on Washington quarters often assemble full-date and mint-mark sets, and the 1974 coin plays a central role in any complete collection of clad quarters from 1965 to 1998. This period is sometimes overlooked compared to the earlier silver issues, but it is gaining respect, especially as high-grade examples become harder to find due to natural attrition from circulation and wear. Finding a 1974 Washington quarter in pristine condition can be a challenge, and prices at auction reflect the scarcity of such coins, with examples in MS67 and above fetching significant sums due to their rarity and demand from registry set collectors. Registry sets are competitive collections registered with grading services like PCGS and NGC, where collectors aim to assemble the finest possible set of a given coin series. The 1974 quarter plays a pivotal role in such sets, and that contributes to the rising prices seen at auction for top-grade coins over the past decade. Prices for high-grade Washington quarters have increased steadily as demand grows, and the supply of well-preserved examples remains limited. Coins with strong eye appeal, sharp strikes, and original luster are especially prized and can command premiums many times face value. In conclusion, the 1974 Washington quarter is more than just pocket change. It is a product of historical forces, artistic legacy, minting technology, economic change, and collector passion. Whether you are searching through your change, welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we explore the fascinating world of coins from across history and around the globe. And today we are diving into the rich and complex story behind one of the most iconic and sought-after American coins ever minted, the 1909 wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln wheat cent. And more specifically, we will focus on the inaugural year of this coin, which is filled with historical intrigue, political significance, artistic innovation, and numismatic value that continues to captivate collectors and historians alike. The story of the 1909 wheat penny begins in the early 20th century, at a time when the United States was experiencing rapid industrial growth, urban expansion, and significant social change under the leadership of President Theodore Roosevelt, a leader known not only for his domestic and foreign policies, but also for his deep interest in the aesthetics of American coinage. Roosevelt believed that the coins of the United States should reflect the artistic and cultural dignity of a great nation, and he sought to reform what he saw as bland and uninspired designs on the nation's circulating currency. To carry out this mission, Roosevelt reached out to renowned American sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens, who had already established himself as a master of classical and Renaissance-inspired sculpture. St. Gaudens began work on new designs for several coins, most notably the $20 double eagle and the $10 eagle, both of which are today considered masterpieces of numismatic art. However, St. Gaudens passed away in 1907 before he could complete his vision for the entire spectrum of American coinage, and that left an opportunity for another artist to step into the spotlight. Enter Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor and medalist who had immigrated to the United States in the late 19th century. Brenner had gained Roosevelt's admiration after designing a medallion of the president, and in 1909 he was commissioned to create a new design for the 1-cent coin, a denomination that had featured the Indian head cent since 1859. Roosevelt wanted to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and he believed that a coin bearing Lincoln's likeness would be a fitting tribute to the legacy of the 16th president. Brenner's design for the obverse of the new cent featured a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, inspired by a photograph taken by Matthew Brady and a plaque Brenner had sculpted years earlier that had already gained wide acclaim. The image captured Lincoln's thoughtful expression and conveyed a sense of dignity and solemnity that resonated with the American public. The reverse of the coin featured two stylized stalks of Durham wheat encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin phrase e pluribus unum. Arching above the wheat reverse was simple, elegant, and symbolic of American agriculture and abundance. Released to the public on August 2nd of that year, it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin, and it was also the first time Lincoln was honored in such a way. The response from the public was immediate and enthusiastic. People lined up at banks and treasury offices to obtain the new cents, and they were quickly hoarded by collectors and everyday citizens alike. The novelty of the design, coupled with the nation's enduring reverence for Lincoln, made the coin an instant sensation. However, the coin also generated controversy in part due to Victor David Brenner's initials, which appeared prominently on the reverse at the bottom center between the wheat stalks. The initials VDB were deemed by some officials and members of the public to be too conspicuous and an inappropriate form of self-promotion for a government-issued coin. This controversy led to the abrupt removal of the initials from the design after only a short run, resulting in two major types of 1909 wheat pennies, the 1909 VDB and the 1909 without VDB. Adding further complexity to the story is the fact that the coin was struck at two mints, the Philadelphia Mint and the San Francisco Mint. The coins struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from San Francisco bear a small S below the date on the obverse. Combined with the presence or absence of the VDB initials, this results in 4 distinct varieties for collectors to pursue: the 1909 no VDB, the 1909 VDB, the 1909 S no VDB, and the legendary 1909 SVDB, which is widely regarded as one of the most important and valuable key dates in the entire Lincoln Cent series. The 1909 SVDB is notable, not just for its scarcity with an original mintage of just 484,000 coins, but also for the fervor it has inspired among generations of coin collectors. It represents the perfect storm of historical significance, artistic controversy, low mintage, and collector demand, making it one of the cornerstones of American numismatics. The coin remains highly sought after in all grades and commands, significant premiums especially in uncirculated condition. Beyond its market value, the 1909 wheat penny stands as a testament to a pivotal moment in American history when art, politics, memory, and monetary design intersected in a meaningful way. It marked the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage, where historical figures replaced allegorical imagery and where coins became more than just instruments of commerce. They became tools of cultural identity and national heritage. In the decades that followed, the Lincoln wheat cent continued to evolve, with minor design modifications, shifts in composition due to wartime needs, and the eventual replacement of the wheat reverse in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design to commemorate the sesquicentennial of Lincoln's birth. But no matter how the coin changed over the years, the 1909 issues remained singular in their importance and continue to be a foundational piece in both historical study and collecting passion. Each of the four 1909 varieties analyzing their design elements, minting processes, die markers, and known errors. We will also explore the socio-political environment of the early 20th century to understand why Lincoln was chosen as the first historical figure to appear on a U.S. coin and how his image and legacy were carefully crafted by the designers and engravers involved. We will look at Victor David Brenner's life work and motivations and discuss how his immigrant background shaped his artistic vision and commitment to excellence. We will also examine the market trends and auction histories of the 1909 wheat pennies, comparing price fluctuations over time and offering insights into how collectors can identify genuine specimens, spot counterfeits, and determine proper grading standards for authentication and valuation. Whether you are a seasoned collector looking to expand your knowledge or a curious beginner hoping to learn the roots of American coin, collecting this journey into the 1909 wheat penny will provide you with a rich, immersive experience. So get comfortable, get ready, and join me on this 2-hour exploration of one of the most important and fascinating coins in American history as we uncover of the most important and fascinating coins in American history as we uncover the full story behind the 1909 wheat penny, from artistic inspiration to minting legacy, from political symbolism to collector obsession and everything in between.